Hey everybody! So today I wanted to talk about kind of our progress, where we're at Georgia Tech, and I haven't done a video pertaining to the aftermath of the Louisville game, and I've done a couple streams since then. Did a stream with Rec Talk, and I gave my thoughts kind of towards the end of the game in the live stream, which thank you guys for showing up to that. And in fact, shout out to David Riggs. Not only did he stick it out the entire time, I mean this Louisville fan, David Riggs, he was in there the entire time, which is crazy. Okay, like I'm talking about the whole time. Like even when they were getting blown out 28-13 by us, and it looked like they didn't have a prayer, David Riggs sat in there and insisted that they were going to win, and they did. And it reminds me of me, you know, and I've done that plenty of times and just sat there in denial and just completely ignored everything that was going on and claimed that we were going to win or whatever it is. And usually it doesn't work out for me like that, but it worked out for David. So if I could find a way to obtain that power, that would be great. That would be great. I'm definitely going to try it out in our game against Ole Miss here in a couple weeks. But shout out to David Riggs, too, also because he sent me a super chat, and I appreciate it. And I never shouted out in the live stream, and I didn't get to say thank you for that because, well, I don't really get a lot of those, and it went by too fast, and I didn't know how to pull it back up. So, plus I was at a heightened emotional state. Of course, my Jackets gave up this huge lead to Louisville, went into halftime. I was on top of the world. And we looked like, for a quarter there, we looked like the team that I've been talking about all offseason. And I think I might have jumped the gun a little and kind of foolishly mistaken that, we were going to be that coming out of the gate, and, we were going to be that all year. And there's clearly some deficiencies on Georgia Tech. And there's clearly some things that we got to work on. And perhaps I was a little hasty picking us to win 8 games. That was a little maybe hasty of me. Well, you know what? If they play like that, if they get it together and play to their potential, they can win 8 games on the schedule now. They can win 9, 10. Clemson doesn't look so impossible now, does it? Ole Miss not impossible? Not a lot of impossible games. In fact, probably none impossible games on our schedule. So 11-1, you heard it here first. No, but I'm not backing out of my belief in my team. We're clearly a good team under there. Just some stuff to clean up. There are some concerns. Positions of concern. The offensive line didn't look that great, but the offensive line, it's got to get better as it goes. I mean, it did last season. They got better kind of as they went into the year, and they kind of gelled together with their chemistry and all that. And of course, we had our best lineman, Jordan Williams, go down kind of early in the game, so that hurt too. So, we're not a ton of depth. We can't really survive a lot of turnover and injuries at that position. So, if we keep getting injuries at that position, hopefully Jordan Williams will be back. But, we're not going to be able to survive if they keep our offensive line gets hurt. We're just not deep enough yet. Got some promising freshmen in there, but, they say that's the hardest position to transition from high school to college is offensive line. So, going to be a few years before we're comfortable there. I trust in Brent Key's ability to recruit at that position. I'm looking forward to that. What else issues do we have? Well, keeping in line with the lines of scrimmage, the defensive line didn't look so hot either. This was a position of concern I had kind of looking at going into the season, and I was listening to the Go Jackets guys with like Rob McKenzie, those guys, and they're on the beat for Georgia Tech, and they made me feel a lot better. They were saying that they thought we were really deep on the offensive line with guys that could play meaningful snaps, and they said we had like 11 guys that could play for us in a game and get production. So it made me feel better, but turns out some of my worries were founded in some truth because our defensive line, we had no tackles for loss and no freaking sacks Friday night, which has got to get better. I mean, we got some experience guys. We've got guys that we can continually. We might have the quantity, but we don't have the quality per se, right? So that's kind of where we're at with the defensive line. We got maybe guys we can rotate in there to stay fresh, but other than that, we don't have missing Keon White is like a huge kind of loss for us. We don't have that kind of standout guy that's gonna pop off and get a bunch of sacks and make some noise and everything like that. Who knows? Over the season, perhaps somebody could develop into that kind of position, but for now, seems like we just have a bunch of guys that are decent from what I've seen. So hopefully that develops over the season, but that's going to be a point of weakness for us. And staying on the line with defense, our tackling in open field was really bad. Not sure where that came from. I mean, we haven't really had that. We didn't have that issue last year. Might just be a thing of they were shook up in the third quarter because obviously all the missed tackles were kind of concentrated in the third quarter of the Louisville game, and I don't really foresee that being like a recurring issue. Key said that they were working on their open field tackling in practice today. Got to get back to the fundamentals with that. I think they just got shook up in that third quarter and were screwing up. So that whole entire third quarter and really the fourth quarter were nothing short of a disaster. We looked like complete opposite. In the second quarter we were firing on all cylinders. Offense was unstoppable. Defense was locked down, and it was the opposite. Our defense gave up however many touchdowns in a row, and our offense couldn't get a first down. In the third or fourth quarter. So I have a feeling that that occurred because we just got comfortable at halftime, thought we had it in the bag. Jalen King said as much, our starting safety. Another thing is I'm seeing a lot of doom and gloom out of the Tech fan base. A lot of people, surprisingly to me, are just saying, oh, it's more of the same old, comparing this to Jeff Collins. And I just don't get that. I don't really understand. If you've been watching Tech football seriously, for the past 4 years, how you could look at what we put on the field Friday night and compare it to Jeff Collins. I mean, they were losses, and that's where the similarities end. Okay, that's the only similarities. You think Jeff Collins would have ever had a freaking huge lead like that going into halftime? No. Jeff Collins teams Jeff Collins team would have got blown out by 40 or however many points to that Louisville team. It wouldn't have been competitive at all. So I don't get how you can earnestly say that was just a Jeff Collins team and nothing's changed. Okay, clearly we're a lot better. We have a really good quarterback. Haynes King absolutely went off. I thought he was making great decisions. This loss was not on him, and it was he played a great game. I thought he made some really good passes. He was really accurate. He ran and scrambled when he needed to. New freaking term. Okay, new nickname for him is Move the Chains Haynes. Very exciting, freaking awesome nickname because, when it came down to it, even in the third and fourth quarter when we were struggling, Haynes King would freaking come through with the first down. He was awesome. So couldn't be happier with the way he played, given the circumstances. I feel like he's a great leader of the team. And, of course, I feel like he's getting a lot of blame for, a lot of stuff that wasn't his fault. Even he's blaming himself. Was he perfect? No. But I feel like a lot of the fans and himself are blaming him when, he really doesn't he really is not to blame for that. So, he's a leader. He's going to come on and take, responsibility for things. And he's going, even if it may not be his fault, he's going to take some responsibility. So you love to see that. Don't worry though, Haynes. I freaking thought you did a great job. I'm so stoked to have him as quarterback. He put up a ton of yards, something that we just have not seen in a long, long time. When's the last time you've seen a Georgia Tech quarterback put up that many yards passing? I think it was like over 300. And I was reading some crazy stats saying you had to go back to like 2004 to find the last time Georgia Tech put up that many yards passing a Georgia Tech quarterback in an ACC game. So absolutely crazy. I'm so stoked to have him as quarterback. I knew he'd be freaking good. And, that second quarter team, like I said, is what I was picturing this offseason. That's the team that could go 8-4. And they still could if they get together and, play like that all the time. They sure could. I hope that they, take this lesson and they learn from it and they never, get comfortable and complacent again. I hope that they always continue to play like they're down 14 points. That would be, that's where we need to be at. I hope that this has traumatized them, and they're gonna be up like 30, and they're gonna be like Nick Saban teams when Nick Saban's like chewing their ass out, and when they're blowing out some crappy team. That's what we need to be like, because we will be in that situation again. I know a lot of you don't think of it, and a lot of overreactions, not from just Tech fans, but obviously from everybody else in the college football world. Lots of trash talk going on with my Jackets. People saying we choked and this and that. Well, I gotta say, I mean, nobody believed in us going into the season, so it's not surprising that they'd write us off thinking that we suck. But it feels a lot better to get trash talk for choking a game rather than getting trash talk for just sucking and getting blown out. That is it's a good feeling. Pretty soon, we're going to be winning these close games, and I fully believe that. So, in a weird way, the trash talk this week, it's almost like they were trash talking us as peers instead of looking down on us for sucking so bad. It's kind of the vibe I got from all the people trash talking Tech. Choking a game is a good problem to have. Well, not a good problem to have, but better than getting blown out, which is more than you could say for the past 4 years. So we're gonna work on that. I don't think it'll happen again. I think Brent Key will whip this team into shape. Every freaking issue that's come up, Brent Key has fixed. Okay, and this is just another one that he'll fix, I'm sure. So don't hit the panic button. Don't hit the dump button on the season. I mean, kind of looking at week 1 and looking at the schedule. And kind of looking and seeing where we are now, do I think of our schedule prediction any different now? Obviously, I did my schedule prediction like a week ago, and obviously I'm already wrong on game 1. I picked us to win Louisville. How would I kind of look at the rest of our schedule now? Well, obviously we're about to beat the brakes off of South Carolina State, get healthy this week. Nice win at home. That'll be nice. Then we got to go on the road to Ole Miss and wait. Now, we got to go at least 1-1 in that series, if not 2-0. And we could go 2-0. We could. I'm not counting us out on having an amazing season still, okay? We might not make it to the ACC championship or anything like that, but it's like that was really never in the cards once they got rid of divisions. Now, if this was the Coastal Division, that would be killer because I was hoping we could stay alive for that. In the Coastal Division, we were a hair from making it to the championship game last year. But anyway, so what do I think of the rest of our schedule? Yeah, we got to go 1-1 in the Ole Miss and Wake Forest games. That's an absolute must if we're going to, have hope for this season. Both of the games will be underdogs. Both of them I think we can win. And if we really want to make a statement, beat both of them. But, Ole Miss is going to be really tough out. They look really good this past week. So did Wake Forest. 2 games I picked a loss. I picked a loss for both of these games in the preseason, but if we can beat one of them, then we'll be on track. We'll be back on track for 8-4, baby. Then we come to Bowling Green, who is that's going to be an easy win. Then we got to go on the road to Miami, and Miami looked pretty good against Miami of Ohio this past Friday night too. We played at the same time. Who knows how they're going to be, though? I mean, that doesn't really tell you much. It's freaking Miami, Ohio. Who cares? We're going to see them play Texas A&M this this weekend. I don't think they're going to be some kind of ACC contender or world beater. They'll probably be like a 7-5-ish team. Hopefully we can take them down. That's going to be a complete toss-up in my opinion. We'll destroy Boston College. They suck. North Carolina, now they look pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Their defense looked good this year. Might be a little bit tougher than I thought, but that's as much as I'm going to give you. Okay? We're still going to beat North Carolina. We still own them. They're a little better than I thought, though, so we'll have to see about North Carolina. Then Virginia will beat them, I'm sure. I mean, they don't look as lifeless as, possible as kind of I thought. We got to go up to Charlottesville, but I have faith in us to beat them. We should be a much better team unless it's just an absolute fluke. Clemson, that game does not look impossible anymore, okay? Clemson gets blown out by Duke. I mean, I try to tell everybody all offseason, like, Duke is a good team, well coached. If you screw around, they'll beat you, and Clemson totally screwed around. Now, are they going to turn the ball over 9 times or whatever they did against us like they did against Duke? No. We're going to have to actually beat them, and it's in Death Valley, so... But, we seem to have Clemson's number a little bit. Even under Jeff Collins, it's like something about it. Just something about these ACC matchups. It seems like even if one team is leagues better, the other team has some kind of slight advantage, a mismatch type of thing. I don't know, but we always seem to play Clemson tough. Hopefully we could squeak that one out. That would be amazing. I'm so tired of losing them. We haven't beat them in 8 years. I would love to freaking beat them. It would be amazing. But Clemson, yeah, they're not impossible game, but by any means, they're not an impossible mean. Okay, and we'll see. Usually they look better towards the end of the year, and so I would be, inclined to say no. But man, their players are not good, like that good on offense. They just don't really have any weapons besides Shipley. I'm not impressed with their quarterback or receivers at all. So, who knows? They'll probably have their identity, and we'll know a lot more when it gets closer to that game. But I'm hoping that it'll be kind of close. And then we got Syracuse, which, Syracuse, I don't know. I don't know. They looked good this past week, but it was against a high school team. So, who knows about Syracuse? They might have completely collapsed by the end of the year. Who knows? They could be better than Clemson by the year. Syracuse is completely unpredictable. And Georgia, these freaking chumps struggle against the FCS team. I mean, what a joke. They're, I've heard stories. Of course, I couldn't watch the game because it wasn't televised. But, I heard they was getting pushed around by an FCS line and whatnot, and their quarterback not that impressive. And, Georgia just, they had another freaking person get arrested. Oh, who's seeing that coming? They had a staffer this time going 84 and a 40, I think it was, and reckless driving. So he gets arrested. Their program is a complete joke. They got people getting arrested left and right. They're getting pushed around by a freaking FCS team. They're such a complete joke. Anybody who thinks that their league's better and that they can just pile drive us this year is deluding themselves, or they're just so stupid, and they're in for a rude awakening. I'm going to tell you what. So that's kind of my look at the rest of the schedule. We still have potential to have a really, really, really good year. And I don't think that it seems like the general consensus, even among Tech fans, even among everybody, is that we're just going to limp to a bowl game. We're going to, win 5 games and struggle to. I don't think so. I think we're going to get to. I think we'll probably get to 7 wins at least. 6 wins at the bare minimum. We're not winning just 5 games. It's just not happening. Brent Key's not a loser, okay? And so, he's not going to just lay down and lose freaking 7 games. It's just not happening. We'll lose 6 at the very, very most, but I truly think we're going to probably go 7-5 and possibly beyond. It just depends how we look, how we're able to get these problems cleaned up. I tend to think that, like I said, on the lines of scrimmage, that stuff is really hard to get, cleaned up and fixed in the middle of the season. You can't really do that. So, in the middle of the season, so, probably puts a cap on what we're capable of. Probably, about 7 wins, I would think. We'll probably lose to one of those crappy teams, Boston College, Syracuse, Virginia, and probably upset Clemson, Georgia, and Ole Miss. That's just the way Georgia Tech does, so that wouldn't surprise me either. I think, I mean, hopefully we can be a consistent team and not have to worry about doing that. But you never know with these freaking Jackets. It was a wild game this past Friday. So let me know what you think. What are your expectations? Are you doom and gloom? Are you sunshine and rainbows? Are you kind of encouraged of what you see and think we can still have a really good year? Think we're going to struggle to get to a bowl? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Go Jackets, and I'll see you guys next time.